Let me try and remember the line or the movie. What is it? Let me think for a moment. Oh. Mr. DeMille, come hither. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready. Welcome to the broadcast, everybody. Can you believe this pair of schemers, these schemers and dreamers? They've got some front. They have got some front. Do they have their right to take their children wherever they want to go? Yes, they certainly do. But isn't it curious? Isn't the timing oh so very interesting, my dear? When you look at Meghan's first appearance of this year, the publicity-shy Meghan, the first appearance was the morning after the King's coronation, when headlines were due. Yes, that exact day. The day after the King's coronation. Of all the days in the year, that's when she chooses to go hiking. To go hike. I just wanted to stretch my legs. I wanted to stretch my legs. Well, I can't deny that I've stretched my legs a few times, dear, and it's very good fun. It's jolly good fun. But I wouldn't be stretching them anywhere near Harold, that's for sure. Well, you wanted to take some air, and you got it. And you got a bit of publicity. And now, you brandish Lilibet, Princess Lilibet, the sequel, the true queen, Lilibet 2. Oh. Dressed in red, white and blue, no less. Red for Harry, white for Markle, blue for Lilibet's gown. Catherine should never be queen. Catherine is so icy and cold, and she didn't do the job as good as Meghan did. You know, just like Willie can't do what I can do, and I'm really close to Granny. I'm the true king, and she's the true queen. Yes, I am, because I channel Diana. I channel her. Yes. Where's my Ouija board? You must be Queen, Meghan, Queen of Hearts. Fulfill my destiny, dear. Fulfill... Oh, no, that's the Queen. H. Your mother's coming through. She's coming through again. She never leaves me alone. What is it, Diana, my dear? What is it? Oh, she's telling me that as well as the Cartier tank watch and the diamonds and the aquamarines, there were some emeralds and rubies hidden down the side of the sofa in the old drawing room around the corner from the old faucet. She feels that she wants to provide me with more of her energy. She says that there are more diamonds. In fact, you know the big diamond and the big sapphire that graces Catherine's finger? She feels that it was really meant for me. Would you please relay that message to the Prince and Princess of Wales, so-called? Because my finger's lonely. And, if you recall, it was on the 17th of June when she decided to go stretch her legs with the bodyguard. And that was on the same day as the King's first official birthday parade. Is this a remarkable coincidence, or is it something more? Because so far we've had the coronation, trooping the colour, and the Thanksgiving and dedication in Scotland. The three most prolific celebratory events of the year, and on every occasion they are trotted out. And it's not like they are trotting around on other days, is it? On other days we see hide nor hair of them. On other days they are plotting behind the scenes for the Tig, and they're merching, and they're dockies, and keeping it all hush-hush so they can spring the surprise on us, reportedly around the time of Meghan's birthday, from some whispers that have been coming through exclusively to me. But I'm not going to go too far down that path because I'm not sure how much faith I can place in them. However, we all know the surprise. The big surprise is coming. But they want to keep everybody on their toes, so why not do it in tandem with royal events? And these 4th of July parades seem to work for them on multiple levels, because not only do they throw shade at the true royals here in the kingdom, but they also cozy up to America, or they think they're cozying up to America. But America is too smart for them. America is not bonkers, Harry. No. Only bonkers people fall for you. So it doesn't matter whether you're here in the kingdom, Europe, Africa, River Deep Mountain High, Outer Mongolia, or Montecito. It doesn't matter where you are, my dear. Only fools and the bonkers and the Fruit Loops are going to fall for your tricks. And I would be more than happy to give them the benefit of the doubt if it hadn't been for the fact that Harry pushed it home himself. He pushed it home himself in Spare. That he was so very keenly aware and invested in the headlines, the headline rivalry around the breakfast tables, the breakfast buffets at the palaces. Remember that segment? He gave himself away because it is not the rest of the royal family that take on these petty rivalries about the newspaper headlines. They're too busy being kings, queens, and prince and princesses of Wales. It is the Spare. It is Sussex, Dumbarton, Kilkeel. It is that clan that pour over the comment sections and the headlines and see who's misplacing who, who's shoving who off which headline. The rest of them don't care. They're not bothered. They're royal. They're not trash celebrities. These Sussexes, these Dumbartons, they are the type that pour over. So there is no excuse, because you should know. You should know how it goes, Harry. And so it begs the question, was it in fact the Cornwalls and Cambridges as they were? Was it the Cornwalls and the Cambridges? Were they the ones that were plotting and planning and scheming? Or their courtiers, or their households? Or, in actual fact, was it you? But Harry, if one such as I was possessed of such an undesirable paranoid bent as you, if one was possessed of such a thing, then one might be forgiven for coming to the conclusion that it is in fact you. It is in fact you and the wife that are briefing against the other side of the family. They briefed against us, the palace, the wasp, the bee, and the cockroach, whosoever it were. They're briefing against us, briefing. Well, keep your briefs to yourself, my dear, and don't expose yourself, because you've already exposed yourself, and you've told us by your actions that it is in fact you, as you take to the streets on the 4th of July, it is you that are briefing against your own family, because you're going to battle. The girls won a battle. The girls won a battle. You're going into battle with them, but you're fighting against yourself, my dear. They ain't bothered. They don't care. And they are royalty. They don't stoop to conquer. No. But I can only make an educated guess. You might have gone there extremely innocently because you just wanted to pledge your allegiance to the United States of America, your new home, and want to fulfill Lilibet's potential as a full American without any English influence or royal influence. Perhaps it could be that, although you don't mind if she keeps the title, do you? You don't mind fighting tooth and nail over that. Oh. And you were so upset that they might withdraw Prince and Princess from letters patent that you took to Oprah Winfrey to ensure that it wouldn't happen. But we won't mention that part. We won't mention the fact that you have declined to surrender your titles or put them into abeyance or simply give them back. As Sussex was gifted by the late Queen, they should have perished with her, those titles. Yes, I don't think that the King, and especially your brother, won't have the power to do whatever they want with those titles when the time arrives. Not that they'll be thinking about you. But they are the ones with the true power. Just because they haven't been hired by Netflix or been ghostwritten by J.R. Mooringer. That only illustrates your weakness, not your power, lovey. But because I can only take an educated guess, I am not so vulgar to jump to the conclusion that it was a contrivance to appear at the parade and spoil the King's day and all the rest of those coincidences, because personally I do not conclude based on a hunch You know, I might have a hunch about this, a hunch about that, but I do not base my findings and conclusions on hunches. But the reason I give them airtime is because using your logic of feelings over facts, then we might conclude what your barrister David Sherborne concludes. We could simply take our hunch, our vague suspicion, and insist that it is hard evidence, as David Sherborne said. Hard evidence, these feelings. And, at the time of recording at least, the photos of Princess Lilibet that have been released on this side of the pond have all been blurred because the photos were revealed via backgrid through Mail Online, the Daily Mail. Well, on these shores at least, all the images of Lilibet in all the reputable publications of media have Lilibet's face blurred. Her image is protected under the agreements on this shore. In America, it's a completely different story. The face is splashed everywhere, all over the place. You can see the full image everywhere. It's on these wicked shores where the press have every access, where actually she would have been safer and her image would have been controlled to a certain extent, and your family would have been left alone by paparazzi, as the Waleses are. This system was already put into place and working very well. But you made the move to move away for privacy because you were so shy and you wanted everybody to leave you alone, that you moved to Hollywood and that kind of district. Well, that was clever, wasn't it, my dear? Everybody says that I'm the dumb prince, and yes, they've invented and fabricated this story about me as the Dumbo Prince. Go figure, Harold. But in all sincerity, Sussexes, if you wish to embrace Independence Day and make some big, grand, meaty statement about your breakaway from these shores, surrender the titles. Simples. You know, if you were really serious about it, if you really wanted to make your point and suck it to the royal family and this kingdom, surrender the titles. It's not that difficult, is it? Or is it? As for Princess Lilibet, she and her brother are the innocents in all of this. And as nice as it is to see a great-grandchild of the late Queen and a grandchild of our King, they are not going to be working members of the royal family, so it holds no interest for me. She looks absolutely gorgeous and lovely, and I do see both Harry and Meghan in the tiny snatches of what we've seen. I see them both in her. I am not one that has ever doubted their parentage or indeed the pregnancies. I have no doubt in my mind about both of those things. I have no doubt that they are very loved. I have no doubt that they are very looked after, but I also have no doubt that they have been robbed of their birthright by their parents. That is what sticks in my craw, and it is also why I find it hypocritical that they insist on keeping the titles while coming up with all this vulgarity. There's no excuse for it, and it is hypocritical. Today, William and Catherine have been at a polo match. William's been playing, Catherine's been watching her hunk. And do you remember the awkward display of unity in 2019? Isn't it fascinating how much has changed since then, although we know now what was going on behind the scenes? It was like something out of Jilly Cooper on stilts. Big Willie and little Todger thrashing it out on the saddle. And as you can see in these photographs here, Meghan could do with baby sling here, couldn't she? Why is she just clutching the thing so awkwardly? We know that she's natural earth mother of the world. Yes, we do. But no, it looks rather awkward, doesn't it? And uncomfortable. This is evidently before she took counsel from the Zimbabwean nanny who advised her to use a mud cloth. Do you remember? To wrap the baby in a cloth. I mean, it's not rocket science. But she waited for the Zimbabwean nanny to let her know. And even Catherine had to chuckle at those spangle-tangle arms. Or perhaps she was laughing at the fate of number 2, because there it is emblazoned on the poor boy. Number 2, no matter what you do, you'll always be number 2. That competitive, Olympian, athletic spirit of Harry's is not enough. It is not enough, my boy. No. It doesn't matter how much you strive and kvetch for the crown. It really doesn't matter, my dear. A spare is a spare is a spare. A charity match it was today at the Guards Polo Club at Windsor. The Royal Charity Polo Cup 2023. The Prince of Wales was announced. And they're off. Big Willie giving it all he's got. Big Willie coming through. Big Willie taking the lead. Big Willie coming up the rear. And there she is within his sights. The trophy, the winning line, the force behind the power, the balls behind Big Willie. The Princess of Wales. He wins her heart. He wins her heart. And she absolutely adores her man. She is dressed head to toe in Beulah, London, in this bohemian, whimsical affair. And early in the day on his arrival, the Prince of Wales was handsome in a grey jacket. They guzzled champagne. It was kissy-kissy time with friends. They've been working very hard, so they can mix work with pleasure on this occasion when millions and squillions and gazillions are being raised for charity as well as part of this polo tournament, of course. It's all in a good cause. So even on a day off, still up to good stuff. A comment from Bonnie Delosier. Catherine just showed the real reason she shines so much brighter than Dutch less. Not her beauty or her style or her smile, it's her ability to notice and acknowledge those around her, not just herself. Something no one can teach and something the Montecito misses can never achieve. Bonnie Delosier? I think you're onto something. I really do. Because Catherine is not performative. And I'm not saying that she doesn't perform to some degree. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have an ego, because we all do, my dear, except me, of course, except moi. Never, never. I'm just like Meghan. I'm so humble. Never. Much too pure to be pink. Ignore the frock. Much too pure. Now, for the rest of the hoi polloi, and for even Catherine, everybody, you know, she is in the public eye. She is under the lens constantly. Of course there is going to be trace performance, but she is not performative like Meghan Markle. In fact, no royals are performative. Thankfully, they have not been bitten by that very unwelcome bug in the modern age. They have not. Meghan Sussex pulls expression. She pulls expression, doesn't she? You can see it there. She did it at Queen Elizabeth II's death walk. At that walkabout, didn't she? Meghan's expression, especially towards the end, she was pulling sad face because, okay, it's sad, the Queen's died, now I must do, I must do this. And at that precise moment, Catherine happened to be laughing, and I'm not saying that it was a gay occasion, but she wasn't going into sad face mode. You know, we're here because the Queen's died, so I'm going to go, one tear left, are you? It's just not necessary. And, to be fair, Meghan subsumed herself in the world of the fake and of the Hollywood set and the social media climbers, where that is just sort of dyed in your wool, isn't it? That is what they become used to and what they think flies, but it doesn't fly here, my dear. It's not authentic because it is performative. You don't have to be performative. And I always hold them up as great examples, but Princess Anne and the late Queen were great examples. Even at jolly occasions, they would sit there with a relaxed face, which to a photograph might look glum, but they're not there to look happy with a rigor mortis smile. Yes. And by the way, it reminds me, I was at the dentist last week having my hygienist appointment. And she was one of those. She was a nice gal, but everything you went to say to her, she sort of screwed up her face and her countenance. Sort of like... And I thought, you haven't even heard what I'm about to say yet. As soon as you started speaking to her, she'd go, oh, I know. Yes. And she wasn't really listening. Not that I had much to say anyway. I was only making some small talk, but yes, I know. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought, just listen. You don't need to screw up your face. She was performing for me, and I wasn't really fond of it, to be quite honest, but she did the job. I digress. Meghan has actually told us in her own words that she tried to be it. She tried to act the part. She never needed to act the part. Acting was not required, but she has it in her bones that she is ready for the camera to zoom in at any moment. You can see that she's finding her light, just like Daddy taught me, finding her light, and it's almost as if she's, let me try and remember the line or the movie. What is it? Let me think for a moment. Mr. DeMille! Oh, Mr. DeMille! I'm ready for my close-up! Mr. DeMille! Oh, Mr. DeMille, come hither! I'm wearing my fancy princess frock. Oh, Mr. DeMille, come hither. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready. I'm ready for my close-up. Oh, yes, I am. I'm ready for my close-up because I am the pageant queen. That's what she is, my dear. She ain't no queen of no kingdom or America. She is the queen of the pageant. And that is why her speeches always come across phony, and painful. Those speeches of her story, they always illustrate her story. They always begin back at the Immaculate Heart and end with her ruling the world as Evita and with Lilibet too in her arms. Oh, we've heard it all before. So yes, Bonnie Logia, my dear, that is the difference between her and Catherine. I agree with you. And she is part of this new strain, this social media crying strain that heaps praise upon themselves and virtue signals to the world, but she virtue signals to flatter herself. She praises others to flatter herself. She runs for reflected glory to Uvalde in Texas, to tragedies to lay flowers. So it reflects on herself. She runs to the soup kitchen for herself, not for any altruistic means. This is what the culture that she is drawn to tells her is good. That is good. That is being a good citizen, by performing your goodness, not by being and not by doing good. That is the difference, my dear. That is the difference, because Catherine and William live it and do it. Catherine is a team player, and she doesn't expect everybody else to bend to her story, because this is Meg's story. It's Rachel Ragland's tale, and the rest of us are just incidentals. We're just extras. We're walk-on parts. Meg is the star. She is the protagonist. She is it, my love. She is it, and everybody else is that. She's it, and they're that. So when she walks into Buckingham Palace, it doesn't matter that she is face to face with the 70-year queen, and it does not matter that the nation's histories and traditions date back thousands of years. What is that in comparison to her few decades? Because that's when life really got interesting and full of culture and sophisticated and right on. And she became an executive and could tell everybody in the palace what was key. Right, kids, now we've really got an opportunity to grab the monarchy by the horns and shake it up. Shake it up for the new world. Patricia Fuchs, F-U-C-H-S. Patricia Fuchs, so I'm told. The more I witness the behaviour of the king and the queen, the more I like and respect them. It was a lovely service. I truly love your take on things, dear River. Thank you. Especially taking people to task for poor manners. Yes, well, you are not the only one, my dear, and this is one of the unexpected effects of everything that Harry and Meghan have been spinning, because their actions might have reflected badly and damaged the reputation of the royal family in some quarters, but in many, many others, many others, including America, it's also shone a spotlight on Charles and Camilla that wasn't there before. My own channel is one small reflection of that, and I am told every single day in the comments by people from all over the Commonwealth and beyond, and the United States of America in particular, that you are seeing sides to both Charles and Camilla that you weren't aware of. positively, largely positively. So they have brought that story to the masses themselves. They've done the royal publicity for the royal family, if you will, as well as damaging them in some quarters. But who wants Fruit Loops and idiots on board anyway? But those who are discerning can, just like you, Patricia Fuchs, witness the behaviour of the King and Queen and like them and respect them more. Yes, and I agree with you. Catherine is actually a very good case in point, because I always liked Catherine. I always thought she was harmless enough, but I found her a bit bland. And I'm not saying that royalty shouldn't be bland. I actually thought it was a good and powerful thing for the royal family to project a character that is bland. That's not to say that she's bland as a person in her private life, but as a character on the royal stage, I found her rather bland, and I thought that would be rather powerful for her, if a little bit uninteresting for me, who likes things a bit more spicy and a bit juicy. But I always respected that. But she never told me that she was dignified. She never told me that she needed to be respected, that she was worthy of respect. She has shown me. She has shown me, and especially in the wake of all of these dramas, and yes, in particular, even over the last few months, but also by her reaction, or should I say non-reaction, which is extremely royal. She impressed me not by performing, or by being performative, but by being and doing Catherine. And as we've all seen, she is the balls behind Big Willie. She is made of steel in many ways. A bit of the old steel marshmallow, as they would refer to the late Queen Mother. And isn't it wonderful? She's certainly gone up in my estimation, and she was already rainbow high. She was already rainbow high, not you, Meghan. I Kavita. Catherine, well, she's gone up even more in my estimation, and it excites me a bit more to feel the steel, the power of the steel. Yes, it was the Harkles that were writing books and documentaries explaining with painful reiteration how benevolent they are. The pains they go to describe to us their goodness, jumping on planes and serving up meals. And, ask the rescue chickens. Ask the rescue chickens how wonderful we are. And she'll roast one of them for you later, with a wonderful gumbo and with a lunch pail of home-baked cookies with vanilla sugar on top, just the way that you like them, just the way that you like the cookies. And they'll be vegan and gluten-free, and they'll be approved by the letters community. Oh yes, don't worry, I've worked it all out. The cookies will be just perfect. Well, I wouldn't munch on your homemade cookies, my dear, even if I was stuck in a submersible 20,000 leagues under the sea, or 20,000 miles under the sea, next to the wreck of the Titanic. If I'd been stuck in that capsule for 3 weeks with nothing to eat, I would reject it, because I know that it would only make me sick, and I would pass up the opportunity to munch those contrivances, those contrived cookies. Keep your cookies, keep your chickens, rescue or roast, because there's only one royal couple that really take the biscuit, and that is the Prince and Princess of Wales, our future king and our future queen. Yes, true royalty and true loyalty, something you will never know, my dear, a lesson that has never been learned in Montecito. Thanks for popping in to see me, everybody. I'll see you next time. Leave me a lovely juicy comment, and if I made you giggle, my tip jar is in the description box below, and I thank you most sincerely. I'll catch up with you soon. Stay royal and channel the royal spirit. Toon pip.